we'll figure it out as we go. Okay. Hello. I know I'm not quite on screen yet. We are doing a podcast and a vodcast simultaneously, so you can either watch us on YouTube or you can listen to us on iTunes and wherever we are. That is Shadow getting out of the way if you are watching. Hi, I'm Marcus J. Richardson.
Hi, I'm Claire Tillyard.
We are a couple, basically, who've just had a baby. This is Claire's third and my first, and we're going to basically be doing podcasts about being parents, which I know there's a lot of podcasts out there, vodcasts and all sorts of different things, but we're just going to bring our odd little life to the table, aren't we?
Yeah, crazy life, which we'll tell you all about.
Yeah, I mean, my life in general has been pretty crazy, as yours, to be fair. Is it
Yeah,
not?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
And we've
More
got...
so with you around, but you know.
Well, I mean, of course, I bring... No, Shadow,
You
don't
can't
eat,
eat that. You can't eat that.
We've got a dog who's just playing havoc right now. We got a dog.
Well, we have a puppy, a monster puppy.
Yeah.
That you decided to buy whilst I was massively pregnant.
Don't make out that this was only my decision. You wanted that dog as much as anybody did.
I mean, I did. I can't lie. But
and we did decide to get a bigger dog because Claire has had a poor experience with a little dog. He's going to knock your drink over if you're not careful. Shadow.
Don't you dare go for the gin.
Come away. No. Well, you've had a bad experience with a little dog before, haven't you?
Yes, it was a pug poodle cross and it was insane. It was literally nuts.
And Shadow's obviously much better.
And I have two crazy children.
We've digressed a little bit though here, haven't we?
Have we?
We haven't really told anyone why we're doing this, but we're going to be doing different topics each week, which will hopefully drive the episodes. Shadow is literally just stood right in front of my face, I'm sure. But basically, we'll be doing different topics each week. This week's topic. What did we say this week's topic's going to be?
Well, I think just an introduction to our life and what's going on.
Yeah.
Where we are.
Yeah, exactly where we are. I keep doing this with my hand. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, we'll do
Spiderhead.
We'll do a quick introduction into who we are, and there may be some weird little cuts in the video because she might start screaming, or little Mr. Needy over here, who is determined to play a part in this podcast.
So excited about being on camera right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it, but his lipstick is out. Claire's favourite thing that I keep mentioning, her kids are also a fan. Anyway, should we just talk about our week as well each week, maybe? I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Obviously, we're not winging this at all.
Yeah, and, you know, are you going to try and start humping your mum's leg?
He was about to,
yeah.
but he's changed his mind.
No, stop. Basically, this has been inspired by maybe a bit of a bad week, really. I've been getting therapy now I say therapy. I've been going to peer support with Mind for, probably 8 months now?
Yeah, so.
Because basically, I suffer with generalised anxiety and depression, and I'm quite open about my mental health. I haven't always been, but I have in recent years, shall we say. Basically, since I've been with Claire, I've been a lot more open about it because I guess it's jeopardised a lot of other relationships, not just with partners, but with friends and other work relationships in the past because I haven't dealt with certain issues. So I have been trying to get help on the NHS. That was very difficult, and we'll maybe go into more about that in other episodes. But this week I went to my first private therapy session. I now officially have a therapist, ladies and gentlemen. But I needed to, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I mean, I think it's really important to be open about this, especially being a new parent and being what would you call it? Blended family?
Yeah, so I guess, for those who are listening...
We should explain that.
Before we go on to this week, Claire, just explain what you're in possession of.
Situation. So, I was married. I had 2 children.
Technically still married.
Yeah, bone of contention. And both of whom have additional needs. So, I have a son who's autistic and I have a daughter who has an adrenal insufficiency. And what that means basically is that she has to have a steroid replacement every 4 to 6 hours in the 24. So if you throw autism and medication requirements into the mix.
Medication in the middle of the night, every night.
Yeah, 4 a.m, which is fun. Really fun. Yeah, so that's crazy and complicated, and the level of care required there is quite intense. Also work almost full time most of the time, and we've just had a newborn baby.
Yeah, and she decided to get with a guy who's got depression and anxiety problems and an anger problem and a really big forehead. So that's a lovely combination to throw it into the mix. But we you know, we are weird and wonderful, and there are lots of ups and downs. But most of all, as wanky as this sounds, there's a lot of love in the family.
Oh, the mic
I
thing
know.
is being chewed.
Stop
right now.
Shadow.
You can't be here if you're going to do
you're
this.
You're going to get put out.
This is the technical equipment required, I'm afraid.
That's a very good idea, putting it down there.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Check me out.
In between the cushions of the sofa.
Yes.
We lost the train of thought.
So I was introducing that family setup.
Yeah, I put a baby in her and she popped it out recently, 7 weeks ago, and here she is, you can see.
Look at her.
I mean,
so she looks angelic right now, but we've had about 2 hours of screaming.
Yeah, we were going to start this podcast a while ago, but
2 hours ago.
She's been raging the entire time. That's why we look so tired.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that, obviously, I look 20 times more tired than she does because she's a professional. This is her third. This is my first. And I'll be honest, I guess this is the time to get onto it. It's, you know, it has almost killed me, really. All joking.
The new dad vibe.
Yeah, all joking aside.
You were quite cocky about it in pregnancy, can I just say?
Hang on a second. I wouldn't say cocky.
I mean, I don't know what other word to use.
And also,
you were cocky.
It's more because the thing is we're currently in a lovely abode, but it's too small for the inhabitants. There's 3 kids, a dog, and 2 adults in a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
And we had bought another house. We were weeks away from moving in, and it all fell through due to one thing or another. People pulling out of here, and then so that's been difficult, has it not?
Really difficult, and I think we coped with it incredibly well at the time. We were angry, we were upset, but it really was the linchpin to moving forward, wasn't it? Because we're so squished in here. You moved in kind of late in my pregnancy.
I haven't really moved in. I mean,
you're still not moved in
because all of my stuff is in storage because we were waiting to move somewhere else. So I have if we keep doing this vodcast thing from here for the next 6 months, you will only see me in 3 different outfits.
You'll see me in many.
I have 4 tops. Oh my God, they're a band. Anyway, sorry. I digress.
What's that?
4 tops.
I don't know.
The listeners will know what I'm talking about. The listeners will know. Anyway, I digress. So this week, I've been a bit of a bellend, really. Claire's had a moments, but not quite been a bellend. More of a foreskin, shall we say. Sorry, I don't know why we've gone there. Because I'm nervous about talking about the fact that, I had my first therapy session. I had a therapist when I was about 20 after my mum died. For anyone who doesn't know us very well, basically my mum died when I was 19 and Claire's dad passed away when she was
21.
So we've both got a very similar thing in common there. So we can relate to each other.
Which helps in our relationship a lot because it's a profound thing to go through and it affects you from that very second for the rest of your life, I believe. And I think we really understand that about each other.
Yeah.
And it's really helped bring us together in a lot of moments.
Yeah, and we've both had our ups and downs in the relationship, whether it's been simultaneously or individually. As I say, I've been getting therapy with Mind, peer support, which is, I think everyone would benefit from just sitting in a room full of people you don't really know, just chatting about your problems and being
it's been
open.
a lifesaver for you. It was the start of getting better and realising, actually, I think it's really important to talk about that's why we're doing this. And you did say that in the beginning, but that is why we're doing this, because we want people to kind of have something to relate to. I think there's so much out there that paints this picture perfect world, and we have this beautiful newborn baby, but the hard things are the things that are not put out there, and that's really what we want to be massively open about.
And we did have a little discussion before this about how open we were going to be, and obviously it was a bit like, look, where are we going to go with this? And I think there's no point us doing it unless we are honest, because there might be a few tears, there might be a few laughs and jokes. Well, there'll be a lot of tears from me because I'm weak as piss. But no, wrong. No, we shouldn't be saying that, should we?
Absolutely the wrong phrase.
No, I need to. This is the thing. This is the problem.
But that is the perception. It's great that you've said that, because that's the perception that people would have of themselves, and that's why we're doing this, because it's the wrong perception.
Yeah, and
we need to change that.
Shocked me because I'd never say that about somebody else.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
And you were saying to me, because I'm the one that feels much more uncomfortable with, I'm quite a private person and I find it really difficult to talk about myself. But you said to me, well, the people you follow on Instagram that you talk to me about and you're really passionate about are the people that talk about their child with ASD and they find it really hard and they're open about that. And so there's absolutely no point in doing that if you're not going to be honest, and we want it to be really authentic.
Yeah, basically last night, I went to a therapist and it was hard but very important to do. I've been on this path to recovery for a long time now, but I've fallen off the path a few times, and I think every time I do something like going to get therapy, it does make me realise how much I need professional help, which is hard to admit, really hard to admit. We may as well be straight about it. I've not been good to have around.
Yeah, I mean, that's really brave of you to say, and I think it is important to highlight behaviour that isn't at that level that's unacceptable to somebody. You know, there's kind of a real level where, for me, I would say this is unacceptable, we're not together anymore, because I've been in that situation, and that's not the case at all. But it's very clear, since we've got to the level, I think, where we're really sleep deprived and we have a lot of stress in life at the moment with the house falling through. A lot's happened. We have a lot of stress with looking after 2 children with additional needs, which you do equally 50% of with me. You lived on your own previously, getting 9 hours sleep in the 24, and this is all a massive shock.
Which, to be honest, I thought I would be able to deal with a lot better than I have, because I am a bit nocturnal in my head, so I've always thought that means I can handle no sleep. That's not the case, is it?
Different.
I mean, this is past our bedtime now, like, we're both like...
All of those things combined, I think, have kind of culminated in this place that you're in, where it's been really difficult for you to cope. And like you say, it's not been a shock to me, because I've done it twice before, and I've done it twice before where it's been
much more difficult.
Yeah. So this is almost a bit of a breeze, having a, in inverted commas, normal baby.
Yeah.
You know, it's my third, so it's different. All of those things are very different. All the emotions I feel are not new. And so, you know, for you, that's been really difficult to cope with. And that behaviour that you're talking about is not at an unacceptable level, but yeah, that anger, you know, you've woken up very angry in the mornings, and I think it's created an atmosphere in the house that's quite hard to deal with, and tread on eggshells, and, you know, so I think hopefully a lot of people can relate to that it's not behaviour that's not normal, but it's not nice.
There's a lot of things could have escalated if you'd not understood and you'd not handled me better. You've got to a point now where you can handle me like that a lot better than you used to, and not take it personal, and therefore it doesn't escalate, because you know that it's nothing to do with you or the kids. It's just potentially a chemical imbalance. We don't really know what it is, and that's again why I'm getting professional help. But you have been very helpful, not to blow your trumpet too much, because you've been really difficult sometimes.
Unhelpful at times.
Really
actually
unhelpful.
Probably for the first year of our relationship I was unhelpful, because I didn't understand.
And we've only been together that long, so basically the last couple of weeks have been great, but no, all joking aside, like, you know, we've both been difficult to each other at times. But
yeah, of course, I should also explain that I find things really difficult. I had quite a difficult pregnancy. It wasn't a difficult pregnancy at all, but emotionally it was a difficult pregnancy because I was going through a lot.
No, you need to, this is the thing, you're never going to admit that something was hard because you can't admit that, but the pregnancy was hard for you because of the emotional side, and it's like,
yes, it wasn't physically
how
hard,
you define a difficult pregnancy isn't just about necessarily the physical nature, the mental nature. As with life, physical health and mental health are just as important as each other, and mentally it was a bit of a war.
It was, yeah, it really was. What made it more of a war was that I didn't recognise what I was feeling, and I didn't talk about it, and I sort of just thought that, I guess I thought you were being mean to me and that we weren't getting on, but really it was my behaviour that was causing a lot of that, and I recognised that in hindsight, and maybe towards the end of my pregnancy was a lot more expressive about how I felt, but I did feel really, really down. Obviously, that pregnancy was a bit of a surprise, shall we say.
No. And the thing is, well, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't want kids, and I met Claire. She'd already got 2, and I was kind of like, oh, someone else's kids? Yeah, that can work. I'll go with that. And you know, Claire was like, you know, my 2 kids both have special needs and are really difficult. And I was like, yeah, cool. And then, you know, after a while, I grew to absolutely adore them. And then when Claire got pregnant, it was never a difficult decision for me. It was always 100%.
It wasn't, no. It was I'll admit, it was a really difficult decision for me.
Yeah.
With the 2 children that I have already. and their needs, I wasn't sure whether I could cope with a newborn on top of that, another child. It's a huge responsibility, and I would never want to not do it right because I'm such a perfectionist.
But I think that's part of why I didn't want kids, because I mean, my job is I'm a content creator, filmmaker, for those that don't know or do know or whatever. But for me, supporting a family is very important.
Frightening.
Yeah, well, no, also very important. And if I couldn't do that, then I didn't want to do that. But then with you, and you know, I realised it was possible. It was just possible. I just felt possible. Everything just all of a sudden felt possible. As soon as she became pregnant, as soon as you became pregnant with her, everything just sort of became possible in my head, which was priceless and made the decision a whole lot easier. And of course, there was a few backs and forths, but I think deep down I knew you were always going to fall on the same side, because you know, again, I keep using this word wanky, but without sounding too wanky, like, we do have an immense amount of love for each other, and that in itself was enough, I think, as a foundation to know that we were going to be able to give her a good life.
We met later in life after quite a lot of life experience. I mean, I say later in life, and we're only 35 and
34. You were. I was 35.
No, but I'm saying now.
All right, well,
I'm 35. You're 36. You know, I've been married before, and we've had
still married.
Significant. Okay. We've had significant relationships before and that we've learnt a lot from. So I think when you meet at that stage, things escalate really quickly because you know what you want and what you don't want. And we've always really had this kind of tumultuous but incredibly significant and passionate and deep. We've had this really deep relationship that we both knew was really special. What are you doing to my microphone?
I've just got a hair on it. We're not always nice to each other.
No. As we found out. Well, no, I was about to say as we found out recently, but we haven't found that out recently. That's been pretty consistent. I think I would like to think that most people could say that about their relationships.
Well, I mean, who knows? We're going to go with that, because obviously it's been a, common denominator with our relationships. So,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things. Obviously, some relationships are more volatile than others. But at the end of the day, I think what people see with arguments is quite often it can be, the beginning and the end. But for us, it's just the beginning of a couple of really shit days.
Parcel, yeah.
And we know that we're going to come out of it, and we know we love each other, and we know that even sometimes it takes certain people a couple of days to take responsibility. Like, it's always there. You always take responsibility. I have to take responsibility because my actions normally tend to be a little bit more
extreme.
Overzealous, I was going to go with. But
extreme.
I wouldn't say extreme necessarily, but maybe. Look, at the end of the day, this is why I'm getting help. I have an anger problem. I have had an anger problem ever since I was a child, really. Like,
You've told me.
I know the people have too. But the thing is for me, I have tried to get help in the past, and it has worked. And then I've, made catastrophic mistakes in my life and had difficult things happen, and the things out of my control happen. We were actually having an interesting chat about how things that are out of your control can have an impact on the things that are in your control. And then,
yes,
like Claire last week. Oh, you didn't go to Tai Chi yesterday either.
I didn't rebook it.
Oh, we'll rebook it for next week. Basically, Claire, one of the things that we've noticed since we've had the babies, Claire doesn't really get a lot of me time, do you?
No, as I'm sure a lot of mums don't.
No, but it's important for some guys, and if there are any guys listening, there probably isn't, but if there are any guys listening, you got to give your ladies some me time. You got to give each other me time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Claire is lacking in that massively.
Not very good at taking it. I must point out that you are very facilitative and you encourage that. You always have.
Only when you let me, though. Like,
it's my problem is what I'm trying to admit.
You're not very good at accepting help.
No, it's my problem. And I'm just like, no, it's fine. You'll say, you go out with the dog. You have some time to yourself.
Hang on a second.
And
that sounds like I'm just sending her out with a dog. Like, it's not.
No, it's just an example. It was an example, but it's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
It's a really good suggestion because I absolutely love going out with the dog. I love my dog walks, and it really is great for my mind. I listen to my music, and it's brilliant being out in nature. But I just kind of, even today, you said to me, no, go. And it was around school pickup time for my older two. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just pick them up and then I'll go out on the dog walk, obviously. And then they'll want to come with me. And you were just like, go now. If you're not back in time, I'll do the pickup with the baby. And that's what you did.
Yeah, but it's actually quite sad that you're seeing that as like a big win though, like getting out with the dog. Like,
That is, with how things are though, that is a big win.
yeah, I guess so. But like, I mean, you'd booked Tai Chi. Let's get back to that. Basically, you booked Tai Chi and you burst a tyre on the way. I say you burst a tyre. You didn't get out and pop the tyre on the way. But I imagine, having been in the car with Claire a few times, that you were probably driving a little bit overzealous, maybe.
We were just at a normal speed on a really bad road.
Yeah, but the point is
with lots of potholes.
Things that are out of your control. Like that was out of her control. But then that stresses you out, and then the things that are in your control then become more difficult because everything's then more difficult. And like obviously the people pulling out of buying our house, that was out of our control, and things have spiraled. That specifically for me, things have spiraled where I've not been able to detect why. Again, I keep going back to this professional help thing, but without that, like it was such an eye-opener yesterday when someone can say to you, oh, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And then you go, oh, that's why I feel like this all the time. And it's just, it's wanky again. It's the third time I've used that word. I'm not going to say it again today, but it's okay to not be okay. And that's really important that you, as partners, you say that to each other. I mean, you did have a bad weekend last weekend, and I was like quite, I think, helpful in helping you kind of come to a realization about yourself a little bit, about that you are feeling shit sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't want to admit, I guess, that I struggled after the baby was born a little bit this time, because they are really stressful, aren't
they? But we just lost. It was, again, it's the same culmination of things. Like that was 2 days after the tyre had popped, and then Quick Fit didn't turn up, and
the house had fallen through. We were kind of obviously sleep deprived, and the new baby, and then the other two, and
kids were having trouble at school, or one of them was having trouble at school.
There was a lot going on that week, and I think, I had a bit of a realisation, kind of, I guess, pushed by you to say,
pushed is quite a harsh word. Encouraged, maybe?
No, but I think it's important that we say that you did push that out of me, because I was not ready to admit it, and I would not have said, babe, I feel really down. I wouldn't have said that to you.
No, I guess not.
Because I'm so defensive about it, because I'm just like, well, that means I'm not doing a good job. And I think a lot of women would relate to that. And when I look back at my past pregnancies, I think with my eldest boy, I definitely had postnatal depression. I didn't want to meet anybody. I shied away from meeting out with my friends. I'd make plans and I'd cancel them. And I just would rather sit at home. All those little things make me look back and think, I was really down. Not so much at all with my second, which is weird because it was way harder.
I think it's really important to note, though, that you are not doing a bad job. And despite feeling like that, you are not doing a bad job. And all those mums out there that are listening thinking, am I doing a bad job? I'm pretty certain I can say you're not.
Because if you have that consciousness and you're worried about doing a bad job, it actually means you'll probably put in such a huge amount of effort.
And pressure on yourself.
Yeah. So you're probably doing things 10 times better than...
Do you want another pillow under cushion under
a lot of
there?
people, I'm struggling now.
Yeah, 1 second. Stick a second under there, eh? Stick a second under. I am honoured to be doing this with you. Like, obviously, we're bigging each other up. There'll be plenty of episodes where we're not doing that.
We have had a whole week of being really horrible to each other. So
yeah, I wouldn't say a whole week. It was like, this is the thing. It was a couple of days, but it feels like a month. When you're in it, it's harsh. And sometimes we come out, like, basically, to describe it, the only way you come out of it is one of you offers the other one an olive branch and the other one accepts it. If one offers the olive branch and the other one doesn't accept it, then
for 3 days,
then it kicks off, and then it's a back and forth. The other one offers an olive branch, the other one doesn't accept it because that one wasn't accepted previously, and it's a tit for tat, stubborn bollocks thing that I mean,
maybe that's just us. I don't know, but
it might be just us.
That is how we roll.
We are very guilty of just being stubborn idiots, really.
We are, yeah. I don't know again if this is just us or other people can relate to this, but we have such an amazing, deep, emotionally intelligent, this connection that's just crazy, that means that this we have felt is so special to both of us, and like nothing that we've ever had before.
Yeah, but and
what comes with that are really tough times also, because we're so, at the minute we feel like that's compromised, or that the other one has kind of hurt the other, we crash. We feel so deeply hurt, just as much as we feel so deeply loved. So I understand you more than I've understood anybody I've ever been with, because you tell me exactly what you feel. And for you just saying, I can't cope. Most people don't say that. You know, it's really important. It's amazing that you say that, because I instantly change my thought process, and I'm just like, wow, he's really struggling today. I thought he was just in a mood. I thought he was just choosing to be a dick that day. And really, by you saying I can't cope, you're screaming out for me to help you and love you and support you. I hope that a lot of people will listen to this and think, wow, maybe that's what's happening to my partner, and maybe I can understand them a bit better. And, you know, we are this kind of really quite unique blended family. There's a lot of blended families out there now, I know that, but ours is quite...
I'll be honest, until today, I'd never heard the
situation.
term blended family. So
No.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard the term blended family, but I like it. We're part of a blended family, you know, shadows blending in. I mean, with how pale me and her are, we will blend into any white wall or radiator. So, you know.
So hopefully people can relate to that, because there are a lot of struggles.
I also hope that for men, they can understand that sometimes when their partner is getting at them, let's just say, I'm not saying you've been getting at me. No, but let me finish. Like, it might come across as that, but quite often your partner is expressing anxiety there, and she's anxious about something and feels maybe that she's not being supported or not being helped. You know, or not.
Something is going on there, and it's not about kind of.
That's when.
Oh, why are they moaning at me all the time?
Yeah, that's when communication's key.
You have to look at yourselves. You have to look at each other. You have to look at your relationship. It's not. But it's not that person's fault.
Whether it's the man or the woman, or the man and the man and the woman and the woman, it doesn't matter. Like, you need to be able to say to your partner, "You're right," and the other person needs to be comfortable enough to go, "Do you know what? No, I feel absolutely dog shit today, and I don't know why, maybe, or I do know why, and it's because you're being a twat, or you've not done this, or, you know, like, you said you were going to do that, and you've not done that, and now I'm having to do it." Like, there's so many things that actually, like, for me, you'll say to me, "Oh, you've not done that," and I'm like, "Right, I'm so sorry, I'll do it now. I genuinely didn't know," and I think you'll admit that you've gone, "Oh, I should have just said it to him." You know, like, and he's doing it straight away, and you know.
Well, because I don't say anything until I get to the point where I'm really annoyed and really angry. So it comes out as a complete attack.
Yes, it does. And then I get very defensive. I think we both have a touch of self-sabotage about us where...
Oh, definitely. I've been there before, and it is a defense mechanism, because especially for me, having quite a long period of being a single mum, you bring up those defenses, and no one is knocking them down, because you have to be so strong and everything for everybody.
But that starts where we lost our parent.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, because then I lost a husband. That feeling of loss is that perpetuated, and so the defenses become higher. It's really hard to bring that down, because I got to such a kind of state of independence, and I was completely, you know, bossing it as a single mum finally, and then to let somebody in is really hard. So then something goes wrong with me and you, or...
And you probably didn't hear the dog fart then, because the microphone's not going to pick that up, but he's just in the loudest fart.
Oh, it's bad.
Worst timing. Jesus, sorry.
I wonder if it's going to waft over here any minute
the
now.
scent will certainly join us at some point. If we had smell-o-vision, you'd be getting it first, because he's nearer the camera than he is us.
Oh, it's bad.
Sorry,
I'm scared. I can't remember what I was saying now. For me, that's where those feelings come from, and when I feel like the whole thing is threatened, because you sensationalise that in your mind, don't you, when you're arguing? Well, we do. The proverbial you.
Yeah.
All those defensives come back up.
They certainly do. And I think for me personally, my defences, as I say, manifest as anger and fear, and anxiety is fear, depression is internalized.
How do mine
anger.
manifest?
How do your what? Anxieties manifest?
How do my defences manifest? So you get angry when you're feeling that way. How do I get...
Very calmly. It was like the other day when you just laugh in my face about me not handling the situation very well, and then we'll say something like when you go, "Oh, it's the Mark show," and it's just the most annoying thing in the world. Just to say that not everybody's like you, because they don't have your level of intelligence and calmness in that situation, and that's both a quality and a massive horrible thing to have in a relationship for me, because it's like
you love it and hate it.
I love that amazing bolshy clever quality about you, until it's coming at me, and then it's like,
So it's used against
fuck
you.
off, leave me alone. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Marriages are hard. Relationships
Yeah.
are hard. And
Especially with me.
hopefully with us talking about these things, people will recognise that maybe in their relationships and think to themselves, oh, I do that in my arguments. And is that because I actually just feel really hurt in those moments and I can't express that? Because all that's happening is that I am so hurt by something that you've said. I'm cut massively deep by it.
But we cut each other deep, and that's the problem, is that when we're cutting each other deep,
and it's a reaction to that because
we then
of
cut each other
past
deeper,
experiences.
and we you know, I guarantee there's plenty of couples out there that do exactly the same as us, and there's lots of people listening here now going, oh, I feel lucky that I don't do that to my partner. And if you are that, honestly, cherish that, because that's a wonder. There are plenty of people who don't have the level of, you know, confrontation that we have.
Yeah,
but then not all of those people lost a parent when in their late teens, early 20s, and then have had all sorts of other things happen to them in their lives. I mean, of course, everybody's had their trials and tribulations, but I think losing a parent when we did has made us fiercely defensive.
Yeah, and if your relationships in your life have been more simplistic, so you got together when you were young and that's the only relationship you've had, or it's your longest relationship and you haven't had those ups and downs, you probably won't relate to what we're talking about at all. But
I think this is the sort of podcast that's important for people. You don't have to have kids. Here she comes.
Oh, so
You don't have to have kids to be able to relate to what we're talking about here. I think just being in a relationship, you can have all of the trials and tribulations that we're having, because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, and add into the mix being a household with now 3 children, all those past experiences,
And a dog.
and a puppy, a monster puppy, might I add. Yeah, so all those things mixed together, hopefully people can relate to some elements of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably wrap this one up now, because we've been going for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes or whatever, and hopefully you've all got at least something from this. If not just a piece of entertainment, then some bits of information that you can kind of take away and, you know, reflect on usefully for you. And, you know, stick with us on this journey. We're basically going to be talking to you, the people of the world. That sounded really stupid. I've lost my train of thought now. But basically, we're going to be talking to you, hopefully weekly, maybe bi-weekly, just about our situation, Claire's kids, our kid, our dog, my mental health, Claire's mental health, the general health of the public, the coronavirus. Maybe that can be next week's topic.
Oh God, no!
Fuck that.
God, no.
So yeah, thanks for watching if you're on YouTube. Thanks for listening if you're on iTunes. Yeah, thanks again for anyone who's stuck this far into it.
Probably
Your mum.
Yeah.
Who will now hate me again. All joking aside, sorry Ruth, I love you. I really do. Much love to you guys. If you ever want us to discuss a topic, then stick something in the comments or get in touch with us.
Or you want to know more about something that we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Claire's...
We've been very kind of chaotic.
Yeah,
that's the word.
Disparate.
No plan. I think we should have more of a plan next time.
Yeah, maybe episode 2 will have a bit more structure to it. You know, we have winged it. We wanted to get something in the can.
Ramblings.com.
Yeah, but I think it's been good. I don't know. Maybe it hasn't. Who knows? You decide. I've been Marcus J. Richardson, and I'll still be next time.
And what am I supposed to say, Claire?
Brilliant. Thanks again for watching.
You're so wanky.
Oh, even you've said it now. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Much love to you all. And be strong. Remember, it's okay to not be okay. And if you need help, get help.